Welcome to another episode of Dare to Make the Art of Machine Design. Today we're actually going to be working on something a little bit different, which is startups! This is the checklist that you should consider at least in starting your own company. Now, before we get to the checklist, let's get to the rules of the game. There's only one rule. Read every bloody contract and make sure you understand it. If you do not, you may actually find yourself in a really weird predicament that you do not want to be in. So, read every bloody contract and make sure you keep a copy for yourself. That's the only rule. Everything else, we can go over and it's administrative. You're thinking of starting a company. It's scary. It's exciting. You don't know where this relationship's going to take you. So before you start it, think of yourself. What is it that I want out of starting this company? Who am I? What am I looking for? Flexibility in my schedule, free time, independence, whatever it is. Figure it out. You're starting a company for a reason. Figure it out and write it out in a notebook. Usually I'm a big fan of recommending books that you can go and read. In this case, I have two books that I would recommend. One of them is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and the other one is What You Do with an Idea. Now those two books are to help you on your journey. It's kind of like, bring your towel on your journey. I know I said that this is a map. However, this is not a map like Candy Crush map where you go from one block to the other block to the other block, or Oregon Trail that you will cross the river and into the mountain. Starting a company is more like playing a game of asteroids, and I'm talking the old school one, like this one. It is, things are going to be coming in one direction, you turn around, you pay attention to that. Meanwhile, there's another little thing coming in the other direction from a different topic. Think of that as you're starting a company. It is a game of asteroids. It is an open world simulator. It is a flight simulator kind of thing. You can go up, down, backward, sides, everything, and things can come at you in every direction. So if you think about it that way, you might actually have a little bit more fun in handling the dynamics of starting a company. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one, the plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This has come from Churchill, Benjamin Franklin, and everyone else who joins in the club. Now, doesn't mean that it's not true. It actually is very true. You have to think about what type of company you want. What is the size? What are the goals that you have for yourself? And integrate all of that together. Look, you'll figure out your reasons, you're going to find out your goals. Now, all of that eventually gets to a different type of question, which is the administrative one. What type of company do you want? Do you want an LLC or a corporation? Those are two different types of companies with different tax implications, profit implications, payroll, and eventually, how do you deal with employees, investors? It just becomes more of a can of worms. So understanding the difference between an LLC and an S corporation or a C corporation is important right at the beginning. Now, also in that planning stage, you need to think of licenses. Do I need a license to operate a business like this? If you do need a license, you should consider looking at the prerequisites and the process of getting a license beforehand such that you understand what it's going to take. Development plan. In this plan, you should also consider what is my development plan? 3 months, 6 months, etc. And at least have something in writing. In essence, you're not going to be 100% accurate in your development plan, but you are at least going to have a clue of where you want to go. It will work as a rough compass to where you want to be heading and in the direction that you want to be heading. Even in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, there is a broken compass, but it guides them somewhere. So, consider having a compass. Doesn't matter whether yours work like sparrows. So, that's the rough outline for topic 1. Topic number 2, incorporation. This is where you actually fill out the paperwork with your State Department for stating, I would like to create a company that does XYZ. Here are my articles of incorporation and I would like to function under the XYZ name. That is incorporation. Once you have incorporated, and by the way, this comes back to licenses again, you may not incorporate unless you have a license. For example, in some states, if I have XYZ Engineering and there is no licensed engineer with the company, you may not incorporate with XYZ Engineering because you need a licensed engineer for it. That's a little caveat. So once you submit your paperwork for incorporation to the state, they'll get back. They'll say, oh, you've been approved. You can now operate as XYZ. Now you have to go and get an IRS EIN number. Go online, get an IRS EIN number. There'll be more paperwork filled out. We'll call it a day. But that's about it for incorporation. Number 3, banking. You would think this is easy, but finding a bank that works for you and your business is challenging depending on your business, right? What you'll need to open an account is the incorporation with the state and your EIN number. They'll check, they'll ask for your ID numbers, and now you'll have a bank account. There's different things that you can look into when you have a bank account. How much money do I need to have such that I don't get charged the monthly fees? How many charges can I do with the card? How do I accept credit card payments? You have something. The bank I chose, actually, for $50, I can have a credit card little box that allows me just to accept credit card payments. They take their 2-3%, and we call it a day. That's what I was looking for. Minimum monthly to have in the account such that I dodge the monthly fees, and an easy way of doing it. So you should shop around, look into different banks. I don't actually promote banks. I don't promote any bank or one or the other. You shop what is right for you. Item number 4, payroll. Payroll is critical, okay? This is dealing with Uncle Sam and the states. Payroll can be the thing that could be a headache or it could be easy for you. If you are a sole proprietor where you have an LLC and it's a side gig, you can pay yourself almost like via 1099s because it's a side gig, it's kind of thing. You're not an employee. There is a difference between being an employee and being a contractor. And nowadays that becomes very fun and legal ways. So for that case, you need to consult, some, let's say, lawyers to do that. If you want to go explore in that realm, I take no liability for what you choose for yourself. Now, all I'm going to say is this. If you are paying yourself and you want to get W-2s and pay the taxes as they come along, you can actually get payroll services. There's Gusto, QuickBooks, API, ... So these are all payroll services when you look them up. If you do 1099s, you can do quarterly estimates and you send it to the federal government and you send it to your state and everybody goes and becomes happy because they get paid, right? So do not dodge on taxes. Pay your bloody taxes. The thing that you benefit when you actually hire some of these companies, and they go about $50 per month that they come out charging you if you only have one employee. They do the auto tax generation paper forms and they send them out to all the different entities. So that's actually kind of good. So payroll could be your friend, could be your headache. It's easier to be your friend. So try to take care of that. Number 5, accounting. Accounting is making sure that you're alive. Let me see. Yeah. The way I think about it in terms of the accounting is checking the pulse of your company. You want to make sure that the gazins and the gazouts are in such a way that you're actually making profit, or you know where the money's going. If you buy things, this is where your accounting goes in, and it goes into categories, which makes your taxes at the end of the year much easier. Save all your receipts. If you have a vehicle, you should look that up. How to deduct your vehicle, or at least on the mileage or on the expenses. That's all strategy. Look it up. Now, if you have a startup, your accounting will actually also help you what your burnout rate is. That means how quickly am I burning money such that I can develop and get to the next stage, right? That's if you have seed money that you've gotten from a grant and you're trying to work it out. This is everything you need to do. This is your money. Pay attention to your accounting. Number 6. State taxes for the company. If your company can potentially have profits at the end of the year, your company, not you the individual, because that's taking care of your payroll, your company as its entity needs to pay taxes to the state, right? So it will say, I have X and Y, Z profits, and this is my share that goes to you. And at the end of the year, everything gets integrated and you can get a cash back, or you can need to pay a little bit more. But try to be mindful that this does need to take place. If you don't expect a profit, then it goes into zero. This is also where you're going to be looking at Department of Revenue and make sure that all your unemployment insurance is also covered. Number 7 is the thing that you have come here for. Your product or services, actually, that you're going to have. Products and services, I can't really help you too much other than, that's your realm. You need to figure out what's your product, what's your market niche, how you're going to sell, kind of thing. So we move on to the next one, operations. Operations is more on the process that you're following. If you have a website, which we'll cover later on, it is what phone number goes on the website, what are your hours of operations, what is the email that they're sending an email to, receipts, invoicing, liability insurance, protect your bum, right? Where do you work out of? What's your business address? All of this goes into operations. Topics to consider. Number 9. Marketing. Big topic. The main thing is logo, email, Yelp account, Twitter account, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. Get a business card, get a postcard, get your firstborn child card, all of that, right? Marketing is extensive. You can pay for marketing. You can go into different fields. You can advertise on yourself. Marketing is just a topic. It is up to you to search what works for your industry and your business. But these are just some of the topic points. Number 10, online presence. To establish an online presence, you essentially need to get a domain name. That domain name will say, Google, here is my address, and Google will take you to the address. So that's your domain name. In essence, you'll need a SSL certificate if you want to be, we are safe to operate, which is another thing. Then you'll also have a location of hosting your website. And in order for them to see something on your website, you have to create your website. And that is, development. And on the other side, you can also say, I want to be found. So that's SEO, CO, here's all the keywords and how you organize it. Either way, you have a website. You can actually hire companies like GoDaddy, Wix, and you start naming going down, that they'll help you create an easy website. It's a plug and play, and they'll include all of that for you. It just costs a little bit more, but at least you'll have it done. Now, there are 2 more topics on this. There is intellectual property, and there is VC funding. For both of those, because they're not normally touched upon for small companies, we're not going to get into that. So that is all. We have 10 little check boxes that look like the game of Asteroid that will essentially help you establish your own company. This does not guarantee that this is all the steps that you need to do, but these are things that you should consider and check out as part of starting your company. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and put the like. And what I'm going to be looking at is, if people enjoy it, I will keep filling in the blanks. This is only the overview that I follow personally to start a company and to help others start a company. And once this hits a certain number of hits, I will start filling in all the other content. Best of luck for everyone, and until next time.